Hello, I'm Michael, and welcome to Tarot by the Tree. You've tuned into the last of our free tarot readings that we're doing just to give people an idea of how they can start reading the tarot cards. Somebody just wrote me yesterday. They're trying to learn tarot cards, and they've gone to the Tarot by the Tree original 10-lesson series. And it talks about the tree of life. And that, in fact, there are two trees mentioned in the Bible, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. Those two trees, when put together, form a symbol like this. You've got a group of 10 cards here, 1 through 10. The 11th card is suspended, and we have 12 through 21 on the tree of knowledge. The 0 card, or the Fool, is the aspirant. He floats freely. Today we're doing a reading for Serge, or Serge. My wife's French and she always pronounces it Serge. Serge is a very interesting man. He's been in IT for 30 years. I look at him as a man of maturity. He's not an old man, but he is not youthful either. He is a man of maturity. He asks some questions. One of them, is he on the right path? When I was doing or preparing for this reading for Serge, one of the cards was left behind, and I put it back later, and it was this card. And it's interesting as an overview of what Serge has said. This is a woman. She has adequate money for what she wants. She has risen. This is the 9 to a very high point, and part of her wisdom is not rising to a higher point than her means allow. The Merlin or hawk on her hand is hooded, which means she controls it. It is a symbol for her controlled thought, and that does come out a lot in Serge's bio as we look a bit into that. I'm going to just place this card somewhere back in the deck. A little background on Serge. He was looking into how to begin tarot. He has what he describes as an on and off relationship with a spiritual belief system. He talks about trying to connect with his higher self. We've talked before about the 3 levels of human: vegetable, animal, and human level of humans. The vegetable level is a person who really does very little movement themselves. They found themselves plunked into a situation, and that's where they live, perhaps complaining the whole time that life isn't fair. They grow roots where they are, and they don't tend to move much, and they wait for the rain, the sunshine. The next level up is an animal level, which moves and has emotions, but the trouble is its actions always follow its emotions. And many humans are like that. They are incapable of feeling something without saying or acting out something to describe it. Serge goes on to talk about a lack of clarity. And in these confusing times of fake news and vested interests, a lack of clarity may be something that's shared with many of us. Serge says he lives in the present moment, which is, that's an accomplishment. Many people try to do that, and in fact, we all seek to do that, to live in the moment and not to be burdened by the past and fearing what the future may bring. Serge also questions his motives, and he asks himself, is this just my ego speaking, or am I having thoughts of my higher self This is the human level when you can have a thought or a feeling and mull it over and decide what the best response or action is. And it seems that Serge is already there. The way we're going to take a look at Serge's reading is as we've described here. Now, we went to do this yesterday, and after many videos, nothing worked yesterday, and I found that interesting, and I treat occurrences like that as part of the reading. And the way I look at it is that something that happened yesterday when we should have done the reading was left open, and something that would happen to Serge during that day would be indicative of the path he should follow, or perhaps even something that he should avoid. As I'm looking over and preparing for Serge, a couple of cards come to mind. I'm going to put them out as a review, and I'm not saying they will refer in any way to his reading, but it's just a review. The first card is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is the advanced study. This is between the two pillars of severity and mercy. Acolytes come, kneel, and ask for admittance, hoping to find the keys to a higher truth. The Hierophant selects people who she thinks will be able to benefit from her knowledge and teachings. And this is very important. This is the wisdom of the past. This card has a twin, and the twin of this card is to say, yes, you need institutionalized knowledge, but the mere fact that it's institutionalized will put a ceiling on how high it can reach for the truth, and it's always limited. The flip side of the Hierophant card is the Tower. The Tower is there's only so much knowledge and wisdom that can be contained by a system. If you want to progress beyond that, the Tower has to be broken, and you have to leave the Tower. The higher wisdom you seek will not be found in an established system. You may have to spread your wisdom over several disciplines and gain that over time. So just a brief review of the two cards. That wisdom does involve study of established wisdom. The highest form of wisdom will never be found within an established system. We'll place these back in random order. We'll give the cards a shuffle in a way that does not flip any cards out or over. When I'm preparing the deck, the way I shuffle the deck is to deal it out into 4 piles and then move those 4 piles together. And I find that does a really good way of putting them together. We're going to look, first of all, as we always do, with a vertical 3-card spread. And that will describe the acting psychologies at work in Serge right now. We're going to treat his present reality as an entity. We're going to be looking at Serge and all the surrounding aspects, from work to family to friends to housing to his health and the difficulties surrounding his environment. We're going to take a look at the past motivation. We don't always know what pushes us forward. We sometimes think it's something, but there may be underlying causes to this effect. We're going to look at his future reality. This is just a card with a support card, and we're just going to see what that looks like. Future realities always come mixed. As we grow older, we experience more, and as we grow older, we will see more sadness, death, injury. Getting older does involve us in more difficulties, but that doesn't mean that our future reality itself will be difficult. And finally, we're going to take 2 cards down. One card is something that Serge should actively seek, and the final card is something he might choose to avoid. This is a situation he should be suspicious of. So we'll begin now. So this is Serge. He's seeking more clarity. He has looked into spiritual practices. He has some concerns about the future. He seems very logically minded, and he seems to function at a high level where he's able to always second guess his actions. So we'll start with Serge. These are the three cards that are going to tell us what's active in his psychology right now. We're treating his present reality as an entity. Sort of Serge reality. Way back when, some things happened which prompted Serge to move in the directions that he had. Some of it is by choice, and some of it's not by choice. Some of it was forced upon him. In the future, we're going to see what his reality is and how much it's changed. And when all is said and done, we're going to suggest that this is something he actively seeks, and this is something he should at least be suspicious of and perhaps avoid altogether. We'll take a look at Serge right now and what's going on in his mind. We first of all have, funnily enough, the Tower card. This means that Serge is experiencing, if not doubt, suspicion that all his needs may not be met with this thought process and this belief system. The Tower card is a card of seeking what you feel is missing in your mind without listening to or believing in the dogma of established belief systems. Secondly, we have the High Priestess. High Priestess is the number 2 card. Everything before the High Priestess is contained in the Magician or Keter, which is only imaginary, it only exists in the mind. With the High Priestess, everything is manifest. She exists between the 2 pillars of severity and mercy, even though the pillar she is on is the side of mercy. The reason is she expresses everything with no judgment. The idea of male and female, the polarity of the sexes, was born with the High Priestess. She has wisdom and great imagination. Her imagination is the source of a lot of wisdom. This is the highest ranking card in reality in the deck. Finally, we have Judgment. And all of these 3 cards are major arcana, which is, I'm just saying to Serge, that's very unusual. This is Judgment. This is an awakening. This is the all call to people. This is the twin of the Hermit card. This is, in a sense, being born again, where the events of your life have been translated into an intrinsic kind of wisdom that you have. Really impressive look at Serge's psychology now. As mentioned, all higher arcana. We're going to look at his present reality now. And this may be something that he dances with, he co-joins, or this could be an adversary. We don't know. His present reality suggests dark night of the soul. It is coping with loss and injuries. It is dealing with the feeling of loneliness. There is a partial tree of life in the window, but there is no admittance into this building. Right now, for Serge, the present reality seems devoid. It doesn't offer him anything. It doesn't console him at all. The second part of the present reality, this is the 10. And if you notice, the coins are exactly the same configuration as the Tree of Life or the Tree of Knowledge. This is a 10, so it means it's a card of completion. And this man sitting here is looking out, and this is perhaps what everybody wants as we approach older age, is to be secure, to look out and see your possessions, the things that you love, and the family that you may have created moving on, even with children, to continue your dream in the future. The present reality is something that will move on after you're gone. And the final card of his present reality is the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune suggests you are under the spell of forces greater than you. The Wheel of Fortune moves the figure up, the serpent down. The animals in the four corners are mysticized with wings because nothing is for sure with this card. The Sphinx, the sign of power and wisdom, sits atop, but that doesn't really indicate what this card is about. This card is about being at the mercy of forces beyond you. Okay, so the recap of Serge is not finding exactly what he wants in institutions, a highly thinking and feeling person whose imagination holds the key to many truths. It's also the beginning of polarity and opposites. And finally, the Judgment card, the idea of an awakening person, and a person awakening to a higher sense of self. In contrast to Serge, we have his present reality, which can be cold and lonely. It offers ideals which may or may not be achievable. And the reality is that it tends to move you around without you having a lot of determination in where you land. We'll see what started this way back when, what perhaps was part of the cause of this. And this is in the past at some point. Serge knew he was a powerful person. These are the 8 of Swords. He also knew that to have a sense of honor, he cannot use his power without understanding fully what the events surrounding the issue are. In this case, long ago, Serge perhaps found himself in possession of power, but being able to unuse it because of the restraints put on him and the confines that he found himself in. That card is supported by a card that, as a result of that, you feel something was stolen from you, something was taken. You entered a contest, and the victor, who was not you, gathered up the spoils. So we see swords in the past. It was an issue of power. Serge had the power, but he could not use it, not with honorable intentions. And as a result, a contest was lost. That's way back when. We're going to see as Serge moves forward into the future, and the future is so uncertain. We are all just a car accident or a fall from a ladder, which would put us into totally different life experiences. In the future, we see happiness, but not fulfilled happiness. In the future, we still see the active imagination in the moon and the water, but Serge, he is happy, and people would tell him, you have enough, you should be happy. He will still in the future feel that there is something missing, and he will still pursue it, he will still seek it. Serge will continue to be a seeker in the future. That card is supported by the Strength card. Again, the higher arcana. This is, we see if you look at the cards in the tarot deck, full strength is never accompanied by bravado or threats. Full strength is, in a sense, in disguise. It does not advertise. It only uses enough strength to accomplish the purpose, and that is never done out of cruelty, only what is expedient. So this suggests that in the future, Serge is happy. He continues to be a seeker. He develops a great amount of strength in the future that he sort of keeps in his back pocket. He doesn't need it. He uses it only to defend himself, which will probably not be necessary. Now, finally, we're going to see as he enters into the future, what might he actively seek? In this case, this is a card, Happy Memories from the Past. This is joyful. This is happiness in receiving gifts and, as I mentioned, joy. But it is based on the past. Something in the past. We're not talking about the power struggle. We're talking about something that might even, it could be after that, might even be before that, that Serge had a type of happiness in the past that was complete. And that's something he should actively seek. That's something that perhaps is unresolved in his mind. And he should keep moving in the direction of what gave him pleasure in his childhood. What he should be suspicious of as time moves on is the kind of conflict that leads to struggles, messages, the back and forth kind of competition. This type of struggle, according to the cards, is not going to be part of Serge's development. As he moves forward with new ideas, new seeking, and new strength, the cards suggest that he should not become involved in petty strife, that he will rise above that. And that's it. Very interesting, Serge. I enjoyed learning a little bit about your life. I found it strange that it didn't work yesterday, and I hope that this reading at least provided you with a little bit of interest. Thanks very much for your letters, everyone. We'll start again next Wednesday. I think we're going to look at the creation myth, the beginning of all things, and how something can come from nothing. That's it. Bye for now.